Hello children, today we are going to start the topic respiration. Now, what do you mean by respiration? Actually, it is the sum total of all the vital activities, uh, or we can say the sum total of all the vital activities is called as metabolism. And there are various metabolic activities going on in our body, and respiration is one of them. So, all the vital activities refer to all the physiochemical activities of a cell. Actually, metabolism has two aspects. Metabolism, it has two aspects. The first is called as anabolism and the other one is called as catabolism. Anabolism includes all the metabolic processes by which complex cellular compounds are synthesized. Complex cellular compounds are synthesized. On the other hand, catabolism include the metabolic process by which larger molecules are broken down into simpler molecules. Now, if I talk about the definition of respiration, respiration can be defined as, it can be called as a process by which assimilated food is oxidized and energy is released. In this process, oxygen from air is taken in. This oxygen reacts with food molecules present in the body cells and burns them slowly to release energy. The energy is stored in the form of ATP molecules inside the cell for further use, and the waste products, that is carbon dioxide and water, are eliminated out of the body. And the proper equation for this process is food plus oxygen, that is combustion of food. That process is called as oxidation, and the byproducts are carbon dioxide, water and energy. Now respiration is what? Actually it is an anabolic process. Respiration is an anabolic process. Now the process by which organisms obtain oxygen from environment and release carbon dioxide produced during oxidation of food to the outer environment is called as breathing. So breathing is a part of respiration. In fact, it is not a whole process. It is just a step of respiration. Now if I talk about the differences between the breathing and respiration, I will categorize it in a tabular form. Breathing and respiration. Now, the first point of differentiation is breathing is a physical phenomenon. It is a physical phenomenon where exchange of gases takes place. It is just an exchange of gases. On the other hand, respiration is a biochemical process. It is a biochemical process where glucose is oxidized. That is, we can say here oxidation of glucose takes place and to produce carbon dioxide and water. Now, the second point of differentiation between these is no energy is released in breathing. No energy is released. On the other hand, in the process of respiration, energy is released. The third point of differentiation is breathing is an extracellular process. It is an extracellular process. The process takes place outside the cell, not inside the cell. And on the other hand, respiration is an intracellular process. The fourth point of difference is in the breathing process, no enzymes are involved. No enzymes are involved. On the other hand, in the process of respiration, a series of enzymes are involved to bring about oxidation. Enzymes involved. Now this was about the major differences between the respiration and breathing. Now I'll talk about the types of respiration. Types of respiration. There are two types of respiration. The first one is called as aerobic respiration. On the other hand, the second one is called as anaerobic respiration. Now, if I talk about this aerobic respiration in detail, in the process of aerobic respiration, oxidation of food takes place. Oxidation of food takes place in the presence of oxygen. That is, equation wise we can write it like this: food gets converted into pyruvic acid, and this process is called as a glycolysis. On the other hand, now again this pyruvic acid, it gets converted into carbon dioxide, water, plus energy is released, and this process, this is called as a Krebs cycle. This is a Krebs cycle, and which occurs in what? It occurs in mitochondria. On the other hand, glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. On the other hand, if I talk about the anaerobic respiration, in anaerobic respiration, oxidation of food material does not require oxygen as it occurs in the absence of oxygen. Absence of oxygen is there, so it is called as anaerobic respiration. In this anaerobic respiration also, the first step is almost same, and that first step is food is getting converted to pyruvic acid with the same process, and that same process is called as a glycolysis, which occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell. Now, pyruvic acid has two means to be oxidized. The first mean is when pyruvic acid or anaerobic respiration is going on in the yeast cell, and the second is when the anaerobic respiration is going on in the muscle cells. Now, if the anaerobic respiration occurs in the yeast cell, the byproducts are ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide, and energy is released. Very less amount of energy is released. On the other hand, if this anaerobic respiration occurs in muscles, lactic acid is an important byproduct and very less amount of energy, that is same 2 ATP molecules energy is released, and this anaerobic respiration occurs in the muscle cells only during the vigorous exercise. When a person is doing a vigorous exercise or jogging or fast running, at that time only the muscles of the person, they switch on to the anaerobic respiration from aerobic respiration. Now, there are various steps of respiration. Or we can say there are three steps of respiration. The first step can be called as an external respiration. The second step is called as an internal respiration, and the third step is called as a cellular respiration. Now, in the external respiration, only the exchange of gases between the organism and environment takes place. In internal respiration, exchange of gases occurs between the tissue cells and the extracellular environment. In case of cellular respiration, the oxidation of food inside the cells takes place. Now, if I talk about the respiration in plants, first let me take the topic respiration in plants and then we'll switch on to the respiration in animals. Respiration in plants. Now, like human beings and other animals, plants also exchange gases. In plants, the exchange of gases takes place from leaves, stems and roots individually. Transfer of respiratory gases from one part to another is very less. Exchange of gases in plants occurs by simple diffusion. Now, there are three main uh, there are no organs in the plant, but we can say there are three main parts of the plant where exchange of gases takes place. And these three main parts are respiration in roots. Through roots also plants respire. Through stem also a plant can respire. And through leaves also a plant can respire. Now let me take these one by one. In the roots, in young roots, the epidermal cells are extended in the form of root hair like this. If I show you the diagram, these are the epidermal cells, and this is a root hair, and these are the soil particles. This is a root hair, and this is the epidermal cell of root. And this one is the soil particle. This is a soil particle. Now, what happens? These root hair remain in direct contact with the air present between the soil particles. The oxygen from this air enters into the root hairs by simple diffusion and reaches to other cells of root for respiration. Now, respiration in stem. In hard and woody stems of big plants and trees, lenticles are present. Lenticles are the minute pores which are present in the hard stems. They are present in place of stomata through which exchange of gases takes place. Exchange of gases takes place with the simple process of what? Diffusion. Now, if I talk about the leaves, how exchange of gases takes place in leaves? Now in leaves, minute pores are present which are called as stomata. Let me draw this as stomata and I'll make you understand how these stomata work. These are the minute pores. They are guarded by these type of cells, and these guard cells, they are surrounded by some cells which are called as subsidiary cells. Now, this portion is actually stomata. This is stomata. These are the subsidiary cells, and these are the guard cells. Now, the surface of the leaves possesses numerous tiny pores which are called as stomata in their epidermal cells. Exchange of gases takes place through stomata, and when carbon dioxide concentration in cell increases, the stomata opens and carbon dioxide is released out. Now this is what? This is actually the open condition of the stomata. Stomata can be closed or open. It depends on the turgor pressure of the guard cells which surrounds them, and these guard cells they consist of nucleus also. I can draw a nucleus here. This is a nucleus, a small nucleus of the guard cells, plus they consist of chloroplast also. Green chloroplast are there. So now actually one point to be noted here is the inner wall of the guard cell is thick. How it is thick? Like this. I'll show you with different color. The inner wall of the guard cell is very much thick. On the other hand, the outer wall is thin as compared to the inner walls. So this depends on what? The turgidity of the cell. When the cell is in a fully turgid state, then the stomata opens and the carbon dioxide is released out. So in this way there are three parts of the plant through which plants exchange gases, that is through roots, through stem and through leaves. Through roots, the root hair takes part in the exchange of gases. The process is same, the simple diffusion, and in case of stems, the small minute pores are present on the woody stems of trees, and these are called as lenticles, where exchange of gases takes place again by the same process, that is diffusion. And in case of leaves, minute pores are present on the surface of the leaves which are called as stomata. The stomata are they are bounded by, or they are surrounded by a guard cells, whose inner walls are thick and the outer walls are thin. The guard cells, on the other hand, in turn, they are surrounded by subsidiary cells, and the turgidity of the guard cell decides whether the stomata will close or open. Hence, the exchange of gases takes place in leaves with the help of what? Stomata. Thank you, children.